Can you believe we're finally here, man?
Mm.
Look at
But
Shaq, a very young Shaq. And this is
wow,
just before they're going to be running the big pay-per-view in July,
right?
Bash at the Beach. And that's in Orlando, where he is the toast of the town, the number one draft pick for the Orlando Magic in 92, 93. Now he's a superstar doing crunch commercials and working on movies and
Hmm.
all kinds of silly shit.
No one does as many promotions or endorsements as Shaq. No one. No one's even close.
He's crushed it, dude.
Yeah, he has. I talked to Shaq. Of course, he did something for AEW, and I think I may have said this before, but I talked to Shaq about that night and told him I was there that night, and he remains. Oh yeah, I remember you were doing the show, and he said, he said when I walked in the back, I hadn't been. He didn't use the word smartened up. He said I didn't know how things really were, and I saw, Hulk Hogan talking to Flair, and I saw all these, and I was going, oh, I can't believe this. So here he was, an NBA star, really, buying into all this stuff before he came to Bash the Beach. And it was
Wow.
right there. It smartened him up. And I thought that was kind of unique. But he was still a kid, right? I mean, even though he was in the NBA, he was still very much a kid, as you saw right there on the video. He's still a very young man back then. But man, the money he has, ooh, brother.
Dude, I mean, he owns like hundreds of businesses,
Right.
gyms, movie theaters, Starbucks, car washes,
Mm-hmm.
Papa John's franchises, just on
Mm-hmm.
and on. And there he is.
Yeah.
Eric and I just recently over at 83weeks.com did like our own version of a WCW Hall of Fame. And we let fans vote on the poll and decide who should be the first inductee as a single star.
Uh-huh.
It was Sting.
Mm.
Sting got the vote.
Yep.
Ric Flair won the Generational Influencer Award.
All
Hard to
right.
argue, but Sting is the franchise of WCW, don't you think?
No doubt. No doubt. He became a star in WCW and became WCW's biggest star. And not only that, the NWO Hulk Hogan storyline wouldn't have been as big as it would have been without Sting as the Crow.
No doubt.
Michael Buffer. Yikes.
Yeah, and that's Nick Bockwinkel in the corner. He is
Right.
the figurehead boss here
Mm-hmm.
of the commissioner of sorts, if you will.
Right.
But we're actually going to see Sherry come out,
Mm.
and she's painted up like Sting. How about that?
Wow. Never know what Sherry's going to do. By the way, one more word about Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever heard this story. Someone told me this story, and I think it was on very good authority that he owned a condo in every NBA town. So when he would go to that town, he never had to go to the hotel. He would go to his own condo that he owned.
Well, I know for a fact he used to own a condo in Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay. How about that?
And I could not believe it. He also used to buy, believe it or not, he would buy like his Range Rovers and BMWs from our dealer in Huntsville.
Really?
And I was like, what? Why? Like those dealerships are all over the country. It feels like people would be falling all over themselves to have Shaq
Yeah.
there. Like I knew Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell had a place here, but they had a kid who did hockey at UAH, so they were in town all the time. But
Right.
why would
Well,
maybe he was an investor in that property or something? Who
he
knows?
could have been, but also, Conrad, I believe this. I believe you get a car salesman that you trust and like,
Oh, and you stick with it.
you stick with that person. Yeah.
I
I
got
believe
you.
that. Yeah.
This is going to be a big match. The unification of the WCW title. It's kind of sad to see. This is going to be the last time we see the WCW title. They're going to go full big gold belt after this. That title was created in 1991 when Flair left and took the big gold belt with him to the WWF. And now here, 3 years later, almost to the day when you think about it, because this is June of 94, that belt is being retired. But for 3 years, it was the top prize in WCW. But I'll be honest, when I think of a WCW world title, I almost exclusively think of the big gold belt.
Mm. Wow.
So here comes Sherry covering her face up. She's going to do the big reveal that she's painted up like Sting. Flair, of course, is getting a lot of cheers. That is one bad thing we've got going against us here on the program. We're in South Carolina. So he didn't
Right.
come out smiling. He came out scowling. and he's going to try to work his ass off to get these fans to boo him. I just found that interesting that, you know, we're positioning him like he's the heel so people will cheer for Hulk Hogan. And by the way, her makeup is identical to Sting's. I knew it was the same color scheme, but I didn't realize it was identical. You got to assume Sting painted her up that day. Oh, come on, Rick. Calm down. It's not what I meant.
I know it's not what you meant. What do you think about that WCW logo in the middle of the ring like that?
It wears your ass out that it's on there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
By the way, we're hanging out here, and
Hanging out.
I can't help but in between, but check my social media, and I saw something that jumped out, and I thought to myself, this can't be real. I want to be clear, I'm not saying it's real. And I've actually sent it to Dave Silva, and I've had him sort of redact some things because I don't think this is real. I don't want this to be real, but it did make me laugh out loud.
Brother.
I want you to read this post from social media. I think it was Reddit, actually.
I don't want to read it, but go ahead.
Talent siphoning gas from fans' cars during the shows. Anyone else hear about this? There's been a lot of chatter about this, and apparently it's quite the problem at the shows. Fans seeing guys and that sleazy looking merch guy siphoning gas from parked vehicles. Have you, in all your years of wrestling fandom, have you ever worried about where you parked because someone might siphon the goddamn gas?
Never.
Me neither.
Jesus.
Siphoning gas at a wrestling show.
Yeah.
Let me just go ahead and tell you how I know your life didn't go according to plan.
Or maybe it did go according to plan. Maybe that was your plan.
Crack is a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
Crystal meth is tough, boy.
You know what?
Undefeated.
Once again, just the fucking internet, just full of bullshit. It is. It's full of bullshit. Like that guy we had last week about eating shit out of a red Solo cup. How much bullshit is that?
I love it.
It's so much bullshit on the internet. That's why.
How excited were you to see Notre Dame get just manhandled by Northern Illinois University?
You know who the biggest Notre Dame fan I know is?
Pat Kenny.
Eddie Kingston.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't even text him, but everybody else did that day because I didn't really know about it until the show was going on. So, yeah, but I wanted to text him about that.
Did you see your Auburn team lost to Cal? You know?
Yep, I sure did.
It's a crazy year already for college football, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, I'm at the point in my life to where I'm just out to see teams lose more than I am to see teams I like win.
You know, I could get behind that because I had some fun on some of our DraftKings spots last week, and on Jeff's show, of course, I said the Bengals would lose, and I got some hate tweets.
And
when I did some copy for DraftKings last week, and I said that, hey man, Cowboys plus 2.5 against the Browns. This is free money. One guy sent me a GIF. Hey man, fuck you. And not only did the Browns not win by 2.5, they didn't win at all. The Cowboys thumped that head for them.
It's like 31-17 or something like that.
It was crazy how off it was.
Yeah.
And I just love when I'm like, because the copy says, hey, share a pick that you think is good. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, fucking Dallas plus 2.5 is a no-brainer. Hey man, fuck you. Meanwhile, they covered by 30.
Yeah. What if he had to eat shit out of a Solo paper cup or Solo cup, a red Solo cup?
Of course, in Chicago for Top Guy weekend, and I got a text from Dad that says, son, you got to help us. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck, what's going on? And he's like, these sons of bitches are playing a close game. And I'm like, oh, he's talking about the Bama game. So then I look, and sure enough, we were only up on South Florida by a point.
Oh, my God.
All said and done, it was a lot more. But
just
for a minute, when Dad's like drunk texting me, tipsy texting me, dear son, we need your help. I can tell you're not watching because we're only up 1 point. Turn the game on. Hope you're having fun. Love you, Dad.
So are you the Are you the catalyst for them winning?
My dad always says, we struggle when you don't watch the games with me. So as we're making a trek over to Atlanta this weekend, he's like, you can't go. We're playing Wisconsin. We're going to lose. I'm like, I got to go to Atlanta. You can just go with me. I don't want to, but I don't want to see us lose to Wisconsin.
No, you're not going to lose to Wisconsin, for crying
That's
out
what I
loud.
say. By the way, since you blew me off and said you wouldn't hang out with me, I've had to reach deep into my Rolodex to see who else I know in Atlanta who'd go watch the game with me.
Mm-hmm. And who would that be?
Well, I'm not going to tell you because you're not showing up.
Okay.
I mean, they even offered to come to your house and watch it in the yard with you.